Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at my preferred Batman look. This is Knightfall Batman, although looking at this one, this to me is almost more of an early 80s Batman. And similar somewhat to the Todd McFarlane designed Batman that came out a couple of years ago that I believe I reviewed it here on the channel. But this is the Batman I grew up with. This is exactly what he looked like. He had the capsules on his belt when I started reading Batman comics in the 80s. This was the look, the light gray with the sort of royal blue, although honestly, an even lighter blue maybe would be even better to me. But I saw this Batman sitting on the peg in Target, and I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta have that Batman, because this one is just a very nostalgic Batman for me. I dig it. So, same old McFarlane packaging we've been getting for years now. On the back, we've got some of that nice Kelly Jones artwork, which honestly doesn't seem appropriate for that, right? Like, that is not that. So, it's a little weird, but Todd McFarlane, as his DC line has gone on, I have come to realize that he does not look at action figures and collecting and whatever in the same way that anybody else on this planet does. The decisions that are made in his line are some of them are just baffling. And I'm sure he's got good reasons for a lot of the things that he does. But man, it sometimes is just tough for me to figure out how he arrives at some of the releases that he does and the way that they're released. All right, and you know what? I didn't even notice that Batarang in there. That's cool. Nice to throw in a little extra accessory. All right, so we have one. Is there really just one tab on the ankle? How necessary was that? Like, not at all. With McFarlane, you guys know, I reviewed the extremely disappointing 1989. Well, it's not the 1989 Batmobile, as I pointed out many, many times during the review. It is the Batmobile from The Flash, but it's also not that, because there is no Batmobile in that style ever in this planet that has had a gray canopy. And the new Amazon exclusive 1989 Batmobile that sells out in 3 seconds every time it gets posted on Amazon. I'm a big chump. I want it because I need that Batmobile and I need it to look right and not have a gray canopy. And I don't want to paint one. My gosh, please do not comment, well, you can paint it. I'm not here to paint toys. I'm here to collect and review toys. All right. Fortunately, that cape is a nice soft rubber and pulled right through that tiny little hole. I have said many times since this line started, I am not a huge fan of the way McFarlane articulates things. And in particular, these knees are a little bit of an eyesore. Not terrible, but they could look a lot better than they do, I think. So we've got, okay, there we go. Hip articulation, you've got pretty nice ratcheting joint right there with a swivel at the top of the thigh. But then the leg continues on up. So there's not a cut at the thigh, which I really appreciate. And that's where, like, some of McFarlane's aesthetics decisions I really appreciate like that, because this thigh looks so much better than any other figure I own. Going up into these trunks, which are a softer plastic, just that functionality is so much better. But then we get down to this, like, relatively ugly knee joint with its massive pins. And I'm like, you put so much effort in making this look great, but then we get right down here into this, terrible. All right. No swivel at the boot tops. So it looks like this whole calf piece is one piece, which is kind of surprising. No, it's not. Because you can see and get this stupid cape out of the way, you can see the seam that's here and then the seam that's here. But there is no swivel there. Which means if these boots get attached to the calves incorrectly, you are just stuck with it that way. But fortunately, mine seem to be pretty okay. The ankles look way better than McFarlane's ankles looked in the beginning when he was using more Japanese style ankle and wrist joints. These actually don't break up the profile of the figure too badly. But, okay, there we go. It does have a pin. So the pin goes into the foot at, yeah, pretty much, that's pretty much like your modern ankles. It doesn't look as good because he's, again, got this pin visible. Sorry, that cape is throwing me off. This pin is visible, but overall not bad. Profile-wise, looks pretty good. You just don't have any rotation here, which is a little odd. Up here, you can see his belt is a little crooked. I'm trying to figure out if, yeah, that is a separate piece from his trunks, but it's glued on the sides. So I'm just going to have to deal with it being a little crooked. The waist joint is concealed under the belt. It is not a cut joint. It's kind of a ball joint, but the movement is all concealed behind the belt. So that works really well. Aesthetically, that's great. And then the torso joint is a nice ball joint as well, kind of WWE Ultimate style, but maybe not quite as much range. But, I mean, he is a human being, so how much more than this do you really need? Not much, if any. He's got the weird discs that create the sort of butterfly joints at the shoulders, bicep swivels, double jointed ratcheting elbows with a really deep bend. And they look at that. I mean, it looks hideous if you've got them bent all the way, but that is a good range. No swivel on the glove, but the glove does look great. And I appreciate how much of this is molded in the color that it's in. This is all molded in blue plastic. This is all molded in gray. This is all gray. So the colors across the figure work better than if any of this was painted. The only paint on this figure is on the bat symbol here, which, by the way, is sculpted. And while it looks really good, I almost kind of wish it was just a tampo. Because in my head, that's how his suit was back then. But, I mean, I can't complain. It looks great. The yellows are just brilliant on this. They look fantastic. All of the colors on this Batman are very vibrant. And he is a standout Batman to me. He's got paint on the eyes and on the jaw, obviously. Then on the lips, just a little darkness. Looks great as a fantastic Batman portrait. The cowl looks excellent. The ears are nice length and they aren't bent up or anything. We've got a nice range on the head. Oh, really nice range on the head. Like I said, on the shoulders, you've got the sort of weird butterfly style joint that McFarlane does. The wrists, again, have been improved from when these figures first came out. You've got the up and down, but because of the way they work, you can rotate the hand itself and get that range right there. So, look, I mean, isn't that interesting? The way that moves up and down. So that, as much as I don't like the look of these discs that are in here to create that butterfly joint effect, they are technically more effective than standard butterfly joints, because you have that shrug, that up and down, that most figures with simple butterfly joints do not have. They just have the front and back. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's not bad. The cape looks really good. The cape actually looks fantastic. Something about the way they did the folds and the texture of it. Really, really nice job, and I'm glad it's not soft goods. The McFarlane one that I got, the Todd McFarlane designed one that I got, had a soft goods cape that is very cool and is very appropriate for a Todd McFarlane designed Batman. But this one, I mean, this just looks really good. And they didn't make it too dynamic to where it's distracting from the figure. Like, there's a little wind. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically just hanging there, but there's a little wind. It looks good. I like the way that they did that. And then accessory-wise, it came with a couple of C-grips. I guess we'll see how those work. And a very simple Batarang that is a hard plastic and is not rubber. Well, it's got some give, but it's not the soft rubber some of these have been. And it's that Batarang design, which is fine. I might have preferred it in black, but I bet that came out of the same tool as these hands, so it's just a cost thing. Look at that nice big peg that they've got on these now. So swapping the hand out is easier than it's ever been. I would, rather than a C-grip for this hand, I would have preferred like a splayed out hand. So let's get that going on there. We'll put that Batarang in his hand if it'll stay. Yep, fits all right. It's a small enough Batarang that, yeah, I really would have preferred the Batarang in black. But whatever. This is a good Batman. If you're a Batman fan and you find this one, I recommend you grab it, especially if you're my age and the 80s Batman was really your jam, because they've done a great job at making this one look and feel great. So there you go. That is Knightfall Batman from McFarlane's DC Multiverse line. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, I am the Knight. I am vengeance. Batman! Whoosh!
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.